Alright, so it's time for something a little different. This is a Haute42 T, I believe it's a 16, but tends to differ depending on how many buttons you get. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, there's 16 buttons here. Okay. This is a T16. Now we're gonna get it out of the way right now. This is not sponsored. I paid for this. I bought this myself. This wasn't sent to me. I have no obligations to say anything about this controller. And I'm a little disappointed. Not because this is a bad controller, but because this is not the controller that I'm used to. This is the controller that I'm used to. Yes, I know some people think it's heretical to play fighting games on a keyboard, but it is what it is. So this video is coming from the perspective of someone not who plays a lot of fighting games, but who plays on a keyboard, and what that experience might be like if you also play on a keyboard and you're looking to switch to a controller like this. So let's start with the main reason why this is in front of me right now, which is that this thing is cheap. It's not exactly cheap, but it is relatively very cheap. This cost me just a little over 120 Canadian dollars. And now as the joke goes, how much is that in real money? And that would be about 90 US dollars. It might be a little different depending, I haven't seen the Amazon page for it. If you live anywhere outside of North America, you probably have to go through AliExpress or something to get it. AliExpress refused my payments like 10 times, so I got it through Amazon. Thankfully, they have a Canadian page, even though they don't say they have a Canadian page. And for the money, this is a pretty damn good controller. To compare, like a junk food, a full price junk food will cost you almost 300 United States dollars for a controller like this, with the same amount of buttons, maybe even less features technically speaking. And the only upside over a junk food is that a junk food is prettier. It's a little beefier. This obviously looks very minimal, which is a pro or a con depending. But yeah, for $100-ish, this is great. And this is probably one of the more expensive ones that you can get. They have smaller ones that are much cheaper, so pretty good deal. Now again, I don't own a lot of controllers like this, and I don't really use a lot of controllers like this, so you can take some of my opinions with a grain of salt. But I do play a lot of video games. I do play a lot on my keyboard, so I think that I am qualified to a certain degree to use this controller and review it. And we're going through this pretty quickly because we're going to spend most of the video demonstrating the controller in action and talking about how I feel using this compared to using a keyboard. So let's just go over some quick pros and cons. So first pro, obviously very cheap. Second pro, obviously very minimal design. You may not like a minimal design. I do like a minimal design. It doesn't stand out. It fits my whole aesthetic. Plain white, simple text. It fits well with the customizable RGB. Now, the T16 is one of their bigger sizes. I thought this would be a lot bigger, but this is how big it is. I'll put dimensions on the screen right now and in post when I edit this. But decently sized, good for artwork. You can unscrew the back and get access to, don't ignore that, you can get access to the base plate here and print out some artwork of your own choice. Next pro, this comes with documentation. I have heard from other reviews that sometimes documentation can be pretty sparse for a controller like this. Either you have to go to a website and scan through PDFs, or go to someone's like Discord, and that just doesn't sound like a good time. So the fact that they give you all of this here, just on a sheet of paper, and has pretty much everything you need to know how to use this, so don't lose this, or they probably have a copy of it on their website. Now next pro, I like this display. For one very simple reason, other than the fact that it's a good button checker to make sure everything's working. When you first plug this controller in, you get a little picture there, and you can customize what that picture is using the software. Or I say software. You don't have to download anything. You just plug this thing in while holding the start button, and it brings you to it enables the customization mode, and then you have to go to a certain IP address that's hosted locally on your computer to customize that. Sounds complicated, it's very simple. Now, another pro, you see these labels on the buttons here? I'm already bad at Xbox buttons. I'm a PlayStation gamer myself, even though I don't use the PlayStation very often. I just use the controllers. Having the buttons be labeled here is really nice because some games insist on showing you only Xbox buttons, or they show like keyboard buttons and you're using this, which doesn't have either of those. So very nice for if you've lost where your buttons are. Next Pro, obviously, it's got RGB. I don't like rainbowy stuff, flashing and changing all the time. I like to set just colors that I like. My two favorite colors, orange and like turquoise. Which I have all over here. That's nice. Pretty much expected at this point, especially at this price point. But it's a nice thing to have since it's a very personalized genre of game to be in. And the last pro that I can think of is there's a turbo button here. I wouldn't really expect a turbo button to be useful if you were playing like an actual like a fighting game. But if you press turbo and you press a button, that enables turbo for that button. Might demonstrate a game where a turbo like that might be useful, but it's just a nice thing to have. Now, as for cons, there's not as many, but there are cons, and they are important. So our first con is the customization software. It works. Let me be clear, it works. It is just really ugly, and everything is very small. Stuff doesn't scale properly. Stuff like goes off the screen and you can't scroll for it. It needs a little bit more refinement. And considering that software is pretty much hosted locally on this thing, I'd have concerns about how you would update that in the future. Again, it works. It's just ugly. Now the second thing, these system buttons. One thing I saw a lot in reviews is that people said that these buttons felt wiggly and flimsy and like they would fall out. And I'll be honest, I don't really feel like that's the case. You can take them out, and pretty easily. I could take it out with just my fingers here, and the caps just come out, which, I mean, they're rubber. The switches themselves are, oops, I just opened the on-screen keyboard. I sure hope I can get that off my screen. But yeah, the buttons are clicky, the buttons are nice. I don't feel like they would fall out. My concern with these buttons is that in a lot of fighting games, when you want to reset the position, you gotta press one of these buttons. It's usually select button, which is, it's fine when select is, you know, right here on a keyboard. I go up there and press that, or just press that, I press that. Some games will let you reset with just one of the shoulder buttons, which is nice. But for a lot of games, it's one of these buttons, and if you don't rebind that, then reaching over for here is super obnoxious. It's very convenient if you don't want to press this by accident and get, you know, DQ'd in your tournament. But as far as reachability goes, this is pretty obnoxious. I get that with the design of it. It's a very thin board, so I don't think they could have fit it on the sides in any way possible without making this like at least an inch thick. So it is a trade-off, but especially since this rivet over here, very easily mistakable for the start button, since they're both relatively the same size. Next con, PlayStation 5 and Xbox One compatibility. Now, I don't have an Xbox One, so I can't tell you whether or not that's compatible. I've heard through hearsay that it is bad and you need an adapter for it. For the PlayStation 5, I own a PlayStation 5, and I can tell you that Sony hates its customers. Not all the time. Well, the phone I'm using to record this is a Sony phone, and it's a pretty good phone. But as far as that hunk of junk goes, yeah, they won't let you use the PlayStation 4 controller on your PlayStation 5, even though these have the exact same buttons. They just don't let you because they're different controllers. You have to get something like I think they call it a Brook Wingman, that basically tricks the PlayStation 5 into thinking the controller is a PlayStation 5 controller, which is dumb. But if you play on console, that's something you have to keep in mind, that if you want to use this on PlayStation 5, you gotta buy another adapter. That eats into the cost a bit. The plus side is that adapter works for other controllers. The downside is once the PlayStation 5 dies, that adapter is pretty much useless unless you decide to play on your PlayStation 5 for the rest of your life. Now the last con I want to mention, and this is a bit personal, you see these screws? They're sharp. They don't look sharp and they don't feel sharp to your hand, but off to the side here I have my drawing tablet, which is made of a very nice soft plastic, and I don't always move it off to the side like this because it's just comfortable where it is, you know, right in front of my desk. My keyboard's over here, monitor's right here. I don't have to move anything because nothing sharp ever touches it. Before I got this, at least. This thing has scratched up my Cintiq pretty badly. So if you get this controller, you may want to consider getting sort of like a, you know those stoppers for your cupboards that make them not slam so hard? You might want to get those, or just tape over these, because these will damage anything you set it on. This is a glass table, which I'm not too afraid of scratching at all. But yeah, you want to cover that up. Also, no anti-slip on the back. This is a glass table obviously, but this thing slides around like crazy. If I put it on my lap, it's not that bad. I don't think it's like unplayable like this. You know, maybe if you're super active when you play your games, you're moving around a lot, and you'll find that annoying. So you're going to have to get anti-slip pads or whatever to fit on the bottom of this, and that's just something you have to do extra. Another thing worth mentioning, not a pro or a con, these switches, these are keyboard switches, and if you don't know, keyboard switches are identified by color. There are two kinds of switches, generally speaking. We're talking mechanical switches, not rubber domes. For mechanical switch, you have linear and you have tactile. That doesn't really matter. What matters is that these are reds. They're linear switches, which means there's zero resistance. There's no difference between you activating it and you not activating it, just distance. From a feel perspective, nothing's different. It's compared to some other keys. So my keyboard is a Keychron K6, and you can hear, you can probably hear a difference. A lot sharper of a noise. And the brown switches, they have a very slight amount of resistance. You can feel it. It's not a big difference. It's not gonna make a click when you press it, like it's that loud. But it's something you can feel, which might affect how the controller feels in general. You can't take the keys off, and you can replace the switches inside. It is just something extra you have to do, and that'll cost you. Apparently key switches aren't very expensive independently, so I don't think it would be that big a deal. There is a switch remover included in the box for your convenience. Let's talk gameplay differences, because I haven't talked about the usage of this. I only talked about stuff that, like, features of the board. So let's first talk leverless in general. So your options when you play fighting games are usually you play on one of these, they call it a pad. You play on a stick, which I believe we just call them boards, or we just call them sticks. Sticks or boards. And then you have these, which people have taken to calling boxes because of Hitbox, which is one of the first mainstream ones. So what are the benefits of using a controller like this or like this with a WASD over here? And there are two main benefits. The first is faster responsiveness because there's no travel time. So let's think you're using a pad and let's say you're holding left to block or whatever, and you want to go right. Well, you have to move your thumb. And that's pretty quick. That's like, I don't know, a couple frames at the most, depending on how quick you are. But you might play on a stick, and wow, look at all this travel time. You have to be pretty quick to get a responsiveness out of this, especially since you could go over and lose your grip. Depends on the controller. With a stick, you're obviously wrangling it with your entire left hand, and my PlayStation 4 controller just turned on. I hate my life. With a stick, you're wrangling like this, and again, I'm not used to that. I don't use a stick, but I would be very, very uncomfortable using a stick with this, just because there'd be so much travel with this, and my left hand dexterity is not great. But we look at a leverless, and it's like I'm holding right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Because I have autonomy over each of my fingers, I can initiate movement with my left finger and release with my right at the same time. So the gap between both motions is pretty much zero, and that gives you a lot of benefits. Not really a benefit, more like an exploit, but obviously some games, they sort of break when you put two motions in. This can have the input washing, I guess, I don't know what they call it, cleaning. That's required by, like, say, Capcom. They require you to have a certain setting so that you press two buttons, it just shows up as neutral, which is to prevent stuff like that from breaking. I don't see why the game developers couldn't do that in their own games, but it is what it is. And you can even see the settings that are enabled here, just so that your sanity is checked. Second big benefit of using a leverless are motions. So the biggest motion difference using this over a stick or a pad is 360s. So one thing you might not know is they call it a 360 because it's a circle, and a lot of games tell you it's a circle, but in pretty much every fighting game I've played, you can get 360 motions by just doing a 270. So you basically press all of these buttons once, release, and press the button, and that's it. So you can just piano all of these keys and you just get your 360s. And I gotta remind myself to try that when we do the demonstration. This isn't the first time I've recorded this, by the way. Now, as for cons, one of the things is a bit oxymoronic. I don't know the right term. Some motions are harder on this. Now, that might just be a me thing, but if you lay your hand flat, and you can try this yourself, you raise your index finger with your other fingers flat, and that's pretty easy. You have a lot of dexterity. And you try doing that with your ring finger. Yeah, it's not that easy. If you raise your other fingers, like all fingers can go up, but independently, it's a lot harder, and you'll experience this when you try doing certain motions. In particular, half circle back, which is used a lot in a lot of Arxis games, like half circle back forward. I often get I don't get the whole back motion because when I try to raise my fingers, both of these fingers come up at the same time, and I just get a diagonal back input. And a lot of fighting games won't accept that for a full half circle back motion. Things like reverse DP, so that would be left, down, left. What am I doing? No, it'll be left, down, and then down, left. And we're pressing with our middle finger for that down motion, and our ring finger just wants to go down because of I assume it's because of the muscles in your hands are they're layered on top of each other in a way that when one finger flexes, the others behind it or under it want to flex as well. I'm not a biologist. I like biology, but I don't know exactly why this is so hard. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you ever typed a lot, you get mad carpal tunnel playing like this. This is something that I've experienced sometimes playing on keyboard, especially when I'm just grinding like combo trials for like hours on end. You're gonna get pretty damn sore playing this. Playing on a pad, you stretch primarily just your thumbs. A lot of your fingers don't get used very much, but you definitely wouldn't get as sore, at least I wouldn't think, unless it's just your thumb. I don't use a pad because I can't even imagine doing a DP on this. There's zero responsiveness for me, at least. Now, last thing before we get into the demonstration is what are the differences between this thing specifically and this thing specifically? What are the pros and cons between choosing one or the other? Probably the biggest downside of using a keyboard, other than your personal ergonomics, is that pretty much no console will accept this. It doesn't matter what adapter you give it, as far as I'm concerned. Consoles are programmed to recognize a keyboard as a keyboard and use it for typing. That's something that we'll recognize when we try playing the games, is that I have turbo enabled. I don't remember doing that. This thing, it will be recognized as a controller, which is why these buttons are labeled. And for a lot of games that works. There's pretty good compatibility. For this thing, this is a keyboard, and a lot of games are designed to treat keyboards differently than a controller. So that's something to keep in mind. The keyboard has basically zero compatibility with consoles. Not that I would have expected it to begin with. Another benefit of keyboard, you get way more keys. Now, something I've noticed is not all fighting games will let you use every button. Fighting games tend to limit you to these buttons, these two buttons, some of these buttons, these buttons, this button right here, and maybe these buttons, and maybe this button, and sometimes this button. So you don't get to use every button on this controller, but you do get to use a lot of them. And one very notable omission on the Haute compared to a keyboard is there's no button for your pinky. Unless you plan on playing like this, which is, I guess that's feasible, maybe. Pinky is just completely underutilized. I find it very convenient on a keyboard that I can have my movement keys here, I can have a spacebar here, and I can have a shift button here. The way that my brain works is I tend to associate one hand for motion things and one hand for action things. So having, say, a quick dash button here, I find it really convenient. In Guilty Gear, I don't play Guilty Gear, but having a dedicated Roman cancel button here, while my right hand can focus on pressing the buttons, it just makes more sense to me, personally. Oh, last benefit of using a keyboard. It's a keyboard. So if you buy this controller with the intention of playing video games or typing on it, you get both. So if you splurge on a nice keyboard, and this isn't an expensive keyboard, this costs less than $100. But I mean, I love this keyboard. I like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. I like the keys on it. It's got all the lights you could ever want. Very portable, very light, 65% keyboard. Great for typing and great for playing games on. So multi-purpose. This thing, can't type on it. Also worth noting, since this is treated as a controller, not that you would do it, but playing with this and a mouse is not feasible at all. So say you have a game that was intended for either a keyboard or a full pad with 2 sticks and all the hoodigis on it, you're not getting that on this thing. This is a fighting game, arcade game, dedicated controller. And I will play a couple games in the demo that I feel actually benefit from using this, or at least are playable on it. But if you're going to play anything that requires sticks, you're not going to use this. Not that you would really expect to, but again, a consideration considering keyboard will play on, if you're playing on PC, a keyboard plays every game, because every game designer who puts a game on PC, at least with good faith, designs it so that you can play it with a keyboard and a mouse. Whereas this thing is a controller that is technically missing features from a normal controller. Alright, so let's get on to the demonstration. So, overarching things we're gonna note with the differences between this and the keyboard. The placement of these buttons. These buttons are straight. You can see they go completely vertical. In fact, they're almost even tilted to the right slightly. I don't know about you, but that makes pressing these buttons really friggin' hard. Say I want to do a double press, which one of the games we're going to play relies heavily on double presses. If you don't rebind these, which is gonna mess with your muscle memory if you're used to other things, you have to move your entire hand over to the right to press these 2 keys. And depending on the game, you might have to do that a lot. And that's super awkward. If I have my hands in a resting position like this so that I have easy access to these buttons, well, my ability to double press these buttons is greatly hindered. This is not comfortable to do at all. This is flexing like an entire muscle in my wrist and hand. I'm liable to press other things just because I'm slamming my entire hand down to do this. Not comfortable. Worse on a keyboard. Look at a keyboard. On a keyboard, usually play with these 6 buttons, U, J, I, K, O, L, and I mean, you can play with these too if you want, if you're insane. But you see how these keys, they're offset to the left a little bit. So I can press 2 keys like this, or 2 keys like this. Very simple. If I want to do both of these, I can just press it down like that. Super comfortable. We're gonna notice that on this keyboard, if I want to press all 4 of these buttons, if I want to have all that reach, I have to spread my hand out all the way here. Now, I have pretty small hands. I'm like 5 feet 6 inches or so. I'm not the tallest guy, and this is stretching for me. This is natural, so if I'm pressing just these 3 and this button over here, that's fine. And this is decently comfortable. I still feel like I'm clawing a bit, but it's not that bad. But again, double pressing here, not great. I have to move my hand over here or do this to get double presses, which I don't know about you, that's not very comfortable to me. Now, one last thing. This might just be because of the switches, but I find that doing double presses, not that you would do this very often, but I've heard the grapevine that you might piano keys like this to get double presses, and I assume if you get good muscle memory, you can get this pretty consistently. But I tend to find that I get a lot of single presses when I try to piano keys. I assume you have a certain technique to get it right. Not my style. Again, I'm used to playing on keyboard. But yeah, that's about that. So let's get into a demonstration quickly, speedily. I'm gonna limit myself in games because last time I recorded this, I did way too many games. This is just so that you get an idea of what it looks like to use this, and potentially what it sounds like as well, depending on if my microphone will pick it up. So the first game we're gonna go through is Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. A notably difficult example for this controller because Persona 4 Arena Ultimax was designed for use on a pad. It was originally a PlayStation 3 game, I believe, and it was a 4-button game, and so that means you get double presses by just doing these two, or doing these two, these two. It takes a single thumb press to do, which is very convenient. And now we get to the problem I was talking about, where double presses on this thing. This double press on this thing sucks. So we're gonna just fly through a couple of easy combo trials because I don't feel like actually putting brain power into a real match, especially since this is a Discord game. If I booted this up, I would either not find anyone or die instantly. I was thinking, should I pick something hard or something easy? And I remember Yukiko having some pretty mean things, because she also, this is a character specifically that's fucking sucks, because she has Aggie, which is a press and a release thing, and one of the buttons is you have to press 2 and then release independently 2 buttons, which is a pain in the ass if you can imagine. And this is a game where you have to press select to reset. No, that's not the right button. That's not my B button. I need to check to make sure I didn't turbo anything by accident. That's Eggy then. Oh my god, yeah. So we're seeing now that I have to... My natural resting position is I want to press these buttons with just my index fingers. And then when I have to do sweep, I have to move these fingers down here to press it, or I have to crush my entire right hand down to press that button. Not crazy hard, but something you have to consciously change about the way you play. Oh, right. That's how that button works. That's not Aggie. Okay, yeah, you can do it. I just did it sloppy. Something I've noticed while using this is that buffered jump cancels feel really bad. Oh. A, B, C. And it turned around. What? Oh my god, yeah, and here's what we're talking about. I might stop after this one just because this is so dumb. I'm not even going to be prepared for what happens after that. Okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought. Oh, can't tell if this is delayed or not. Goddamn trial designers not putting notations in all the time. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna call that there, just because I don't feel like pushing this too long, and also because the BlazBlue combos will probably take me a million years. Speaking of, we're just gonna Alt F4 to this. The magic of using a keyboard. It's just that easy. I'm always baffled when people don't use their shortcuts. I get that some people don't know, but sometimes you'll tell someone there's a shortcut and they just still don't use it. We're moving on to BlazBlue. When are we getting a new game, goddammit? I didn't try that like platformer roguelike thing, because I hate roguelikes. When are we getting a next game?
Please select your character.
I would play this over Guilty Gear, I'll be honest. So when I did these before, I did Celica combos, and those weren't nice to me. So we're gonna do S combos, because they're even worse to me. And I need these to be difficult so that I can show a thorough usage of the controller.
Action.
S is classically a pretty simple character though.
Action.
Very easy. That's... oh yes. I should note that I have rebound these again because this is a controller. So it sees... so it sees this as a controller, so it uses the face buttons, whereas these are shoulder buttons. I've rebound this A, B, C, D, just for my own convenience. And this is a game where shoulder button does reset, so very convenient. And I have rebound one of these keys to the overdrive button, but I don't have it right now. I'm pretty sure it's this button, yeah, all four. I must have never go. I keep reaching over for a reset. Did I reach it earlier? Maybe I have to jump there. I've been neutral jumping there. Yeah. Maybe I'm doing it. Good enough.
Action. Action.
I don't know about any of you, but GPs on the Leverless are also very easy. Some people have a lot of trouble with it. It's just right, down, and then down right, so index finger, middle finger, and then both fingers at the same time. I find it to be very simple. It's not one of those combos. Yeah, let's not do that on the right side.
Action.
Did it do it?
Action.
That's not the B button.
Action.
Damn it. You can see I missed a few buttons there trying to do the half circle.
Action!
We'll do that again, but I'll use the hotkey that I said. It's a little easier, but I find it a little awkward activating the thumb here when I wouldn't normally use the thumb there.
Action!
No buffer. Time stuff too. And it can go. Okay. I guess I'll use the hotkey. Okay. For my own sanity, we won't do the expert mode, but we will try another character who's comparatively difficult as far as characters in this game goes.
Action!
He's much less lenient with the timing. Also a lot of DP motions.
Action!
This is gonna take me forever. Okay, thank God it didn't take me forever.
Action!
That's not what I wanted.
Action!
I should turn on their disk display. Give me the super jump. I do like how her taunt is it's a button you can press. It's not a good button, but it's a funny button. Sometimes I wish you could turn off Dragon Punch to leniency. Oh, now here's a really fun thing to do. They don't... this notation here isn't super clear what you can do, but you can do the cancel by just pressing B and A at the same time, or I guess C and A. The proper way would be to press the stance and then tap A. But for the purposes of doing this, pressing both at the same time, much easier. If you really wanted to, I don't have a bind for it, I don't think. But you could have a hotkey for just A and B, and have that be your button for that stance cancel. Almost got it. If this game weren't dead and I didn't suck at it, I honestly would probably play Zaya. Okay, I remember. This is gonna suck. I say that after saying, oh, I'll play Zaya. Play the hardest character in the game next to fucking Carl. Give it to me! That's not the next one.
Action.
And then we'll ask you to do something super friggin' simple. This is an overdrive combo. I say that and then I lose it. Now tell me that didn't look cool.
Action.
Oh fuck this combo. I think we'll stop here. Cause yeah, this kinda sucks. Yeah, I think we'll call that there. I don't feel like doing that for the next 2 hours. So we're gonna boot up Eunice. Now, I might regret this, because the last time I tried these combos, it took me about 1,000 years. We'll do some on this, and then I'll switch to the keyboard just to show that it's not infeasible to play on a keyboard. Oh right, the grappler, huh. I guess I can, waltz in. Actually, doesn't Mika have a 360? Nope. Okay. Maybe Waldstein has a 360. I haven't done any of his combos before, because I don't play grapplers. Another game where if I didn't suck at it and the game was, well, I don't think there's any hope for me playing this game, because this game's friggin' hard. Oh, does this game, do they not have 360s in this game? Oh no. Rotate ABC, okay. So, oh, what the fuck? Oh, right, that's a bind. Get the input display up. That's just 2 buttons at once. Okay, this is a weird fucking character. But yeah, so we can do. That's our 360. We just press 4 buttons. That's it. You don't have to complete the circle at all. It's pretty lenient, this game. Did that really work? Yeah, pretty lenient. A lot of command buttons. I don't play that character. Not that I play this game at all, but especially not that one. But you know what? Since I hate myself, we'll try Batista combos. Another insanely difficult because charge motions are not my jam. Which is a shame, because I think this button alone, just fucking finger guns, I think that's really funny. Just like, dude. Not only do you have back-forward motions, but you have forward-back. At least you have like a fucking sick flash kick if I can even input it. Can I? Is it not a charge down up? It's apparently a pretty quick charge too. Huh? We're not gonna get very far with this, I can assure you. Strange how Guile is a character you often associate with being very basic game plan, like, oh, I just do these. Like, oh, I just shoot the, why can't I just shoot the fucking bullets? I tend to associate charged zoners with just being simple, but then you have this character who's like fucking on crack and Adderall all at the same time. Oh yes, and of course a charge up and then a down. I can sort of see what they were going for, where like every button leads into another button that you press. You gotta be on something to play this character properly. They want you to jump again, that's odd. Maybe you could just hold it. Maybe you gotta be a friggin' piano player to do this. At least she does the funny guru thing. Oh, that's a demo. I was like, huh? Why is it working so well? Meh. I'm being hard filtered by 3-1 of all combos. Let's see what the actual demo does. How do you do that? You recover so quickly. I think I have to delay the B press a little bit. Oh. I think delaying B worked. I just have to figure out the rest of this motion now. If I can do just this one combo, I'll be satisfied. Let us try an alternative. I don't think I'll do any better, but it's worth a shot. You could build muscle memory for that part. You must have a pretty lenient timing after that. Really lenient. Okay. What does this one look like? VC. Okay, it's the same thing. But you hold it? Oh. Oh. And then you do that and you release. I already have the muscle memory for the rest of it. Surely this can't be too hard. It also doesn't seem like you have to delay this one. We're getting there. We'll switch to a character I know better after this. Okay. Good enough. We're not doing that. Cool character design, but unplayable. Some people say they don't like her theme. I kind of like it. I don't know why. They call it the bike horn, but I kind of like it. I have fucking delay in my brain now. Let's switch over to normal controller, or well, the controller of the hour. Now we're getting the issue with the buffer. That's not B. That's not. Of course, go back. Dang, side switch combos. I'm losing my buttons again. And I didn't get the thing at the time. That's not down. Here's a combo that really stinks. It's a shame because it looks cool. The delayed quarter circle A is what's important. One thing I didn't mention was I kind of feel like TK motions on this stick or leverless not as intuitive as using a keyboard. There are some combos that later that will demonstrate. Like let's try this on keyboard. We're in the corner, but I just want to try it. Unless my muscle memory is just fucked. That's I'm used to the other combos that ask you to do quarter circle back. They want you to do increase C for some reason, and then B quarter circle back. Where did my second B go? And where did my A go? You can see right there this diagonal up A. Oh my god, it's this combo. Another thing I didn't mention is an issue you might have on keyboard is since there's so many keys, if you lose your hand positioning, you're kind of fucked because you gotta look at your keyboard again to see where your buttons are, which might happen more than I'd like to admit. What happened? I'm getting a frame drop in a single player mode. Granted, I'm recording at the same time, so... I did the same thing in reverse. Okay. Muscle memory will carry through. This is a silly combo. This is where the last straw gets pulled. Yeah, I don't even know why they make him jump. I feel like this combo works if he's grounded anyways. No, it happens on keyboard too. I'm just bad. Again. I got another frame drop. Okay. Maybe the game's mad at me that I'm using different keyboards. Different controllers all the time. I think it's worth noting that I'm not very forceful when I play games. I don't move around a lot, I don't freak out. So I feel like maybe if you're the kind of person who's like, press buttons very like intentionally and like strongly, you might have better results on a big keyboard like a controller like this. You know, might just be me. Oh, here's a this is a TK combo, I think. Yeah. Here's an easy TK for you. Easy, relatively speaking. I almost got that on the first try. One frame gap between pressing C. Oh, here's a funny combo. They don't tell you to delay the 3C, but you do. Oh, and that's sad. Okay. Oh! I pressed B just a little too early. 4 frames too early. Oh. Veil off? Until I don't actually play this game. Okay. Okay. I guess that's the combo. Yeah, it's not quarter circle forward. Eight frames of a gap, and I didn't get the second beat press. We're gonna try it on the keyboard. Just a proof of concept. I did it in the corner, so we'll try it again. It's honestly easier if you neutral jump it instead of forward jumping. No veil off again. This is gonna be the last one. I'm upset. I didn't walk this time. Oh no, it worked, okay. Slam dunk. We will now move on to two games that probably you wouldn't play with this kind of controller, but you can, and just to show that it works. I'm not gonna play these for too long because I could get stuck here playing for the rest of my life if I'm not careful. That's weird. It's not making any noise. So yeah. We have jumping, we have the map button, we have the menu button, we have jumping, shooting, and these are, I believe these are your swap buttons, yeah. So swapping is a bit awkward, but the rest of the controls are actually pretty solid. And this is a game that benefits greatly from being able to turbo a button. Now we can turbo a fire, which you don't normally do. So we'll just, we'll get to the end of Egg Zone. Or not, because we're playing on hard mode and I could die horrifically. Oh, I totally missed the item over here. Oh wait, it's a heart container, right? Those don't exist on hard mode. Yeah, okay, it's empty on there. It is, I will say, it is very nice being able to play classic Cave Story with the turbo button. I believe this is only something you get with like remakes of the game. I don't even think Cave Story Plus lets you turbo. How are you? I will say it's a little weird having aim up be a space bar thing, like pressing your thumb down. It's not the worst thing, really. Oh, do you not get missiles in hard mode? That is pretty damn mean. Gotta say. Alright, let's see if I die horrifically to fucking, I think it's E-Wars, isn't it? No one may touch Master's Eggs. A turbo makes that much more comfortable. I wonder, so they say the master hasn't found the Chaos Emeralds. He hasn't found the red flowers yet, but he still has Igor. I wonder where he came from. Just an offshoot, or one of the first that ate the flowers. Huh? I got creamed! I remember if you say no, she's just like, whatever. Very soon of her. We can get off this dump together. Alright, we're gonna unturbo that. And that'll be the Cave Story demonstration. Shit works. It's pretty cash. Alright, last game of the demonstration. And this is a little different. Even more different, but I think this is a game that works pretty well with this odd controller setup. Of course, this is an arcade controller. So what we need is an arcade game. I actually don't remember if this was a real arcade game when it first came out. Maybe it was just an NES game, but we're doing it. Doing it well. Doing it well. I represent Taco Bell Dorito Shell. Why isn't it loading? Okay, we're here now. Good old Unreal Engine. Everyone loves to hate it. Now, last time I played this game for the video, I totally mangled everything. So this time, I'm gonna try a little harder. Just a little harder. We'll just do, you know what, I'll just do a round of my favorite stage, which is this one. We'll do a solid 90 lines. It should take like 8 minutes or so. Depends. And I don't see an opener here, so we'll just do we'll just do a good old T-spin double into fucking, I don't know, another T-spin double. Yeah. I don't know. None of these pieces go anywhere. But I probably shouldn't have put that there. I said I would try a little harder. And I didn't entirely lie. None of these pieces fit anywhere. I should have gone for like a T-spin triple setup. Instead I'm building God knows what. We're just clearing lines. At this point it doesn't even matter. Yep. That'll do. I guess we'll just, I guess we're just going for like... Just do a 2 wide? Alright, 2 wides are cool. Maybe that was the incorrect floor. Oh, and we set ourselves up for a T-spin. And another T-spin. We're just gaming. We're gaming so hard I fucking messed up these pieces so bad. For the sake of the T-spin. It was worth it. That's not gonna work. But for the T-spin, it'll work. No, it won't. We made it dead, now so we can fix it. Kick it in. Oh. dun. That's not the button I wanted to press. I can assure you that that was user error. It had nothing to do with the controller. These pieces. Where are my pieces? Fuck it. Let's just finish it. It took about 9 minutes to do. Not bad, not bad. We got that T-spin triple set up in there. It's not a whim. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but I did it. But yeah, as far as this game goes, it's pretty comfortable just having 2 buttons to press. There are some things that I still fumbled on. I tend to find it pretty easy to press one too many times just because these are linear switches. So it's a bit too responsive for me. Just a bit, it's like too much of a good thing, really. Well, that's about that. I said everything I wanted to say about the controller. It's a good controller. I'm just not very used to it. I find that this posture for these fighting games, it's not the most comfortable thing. You can obviously rebind things, but if you are someone who's used to playing on a keyboard, you will notice a difference when you have these buttons here. They're so spread out, whereas on a keyboard, you don't have to stretch your fingers as much. All of these buttons are just accessible to you. And of course, things like spacebar being massive, backspace button being almost universally standard for resetting stuff in training mode. Additional shift key, and the fact that you can type on this as well as play games on it. But yeah, that'll do her. Thanks for watching.